always lit this town like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up.
Hey guys, how we doing tonight? How are we doing? Welcome in. It's Friday Night Live. It's Friday, everybody. Music's gonna start again. Didn't turn the music off, but it is Friday night. Everybody should be excited because it's the weekend. Hopefully it's been nice where you guys are. It was lovely here today. But welcome into the channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt, and we do talk all things true crime on this channel. So if that's something that you're into, and you decide throughout the live you want to subscribe to the channel, we'd love to have you. And don't forget to hit the like button for your girl. That's all I ask. I am going to do something really quick because I forgot to do it before the live. I want to make sure. Actually, I think I did it. I think I did do it. I just want to make sure the live chat was on for you guys for later. Nope, I didn't do it because we did a members only earlier. So that's what I did it on. So welcome in, everybody. I'm just making sure that the live chat's on. That way, when people come back and they want to watch it, you'll have the live chat. And then I put it on members only just because we only have a couple mods. It just helps with, you know, the chaos. The chaos, I'll say. But if you would like to become a member or support the channel, you can do so by, you know, becoming a member, super chats, PayPal, Cash App, all those fun things that everyone has. I have them on this channel as well. So if you do want to support, you're more than welcome. We'd love to have the support, especially since I broke off a part of my tooth again tonight. Lovely. How long did that last? A week? Literally, I'm about to look at my phone. How long it lasted that I had perfect dental health. But we'll get through it. You know, it's just one of those things. It's one of those things. And so I told Vincent, I said, I'm about to start me. Everyone's got a PayPal going on. I'm like, the girl needs her teeth. I'm totally kidding. I wouldn't do it. But no, I just had Chipotle. I was like, okay. And I was just flossing afterwards, like, doing my due diligence, you know? That's what you get for flossing. So I called in my old doctor, my old dentist. I text her and I'm like, I know you're not there anymore. Can you help me? And she did. So she's gonna send a note over Monday morning. So hey Ladybug, hey Dawn. But other than that, it's been a wonderful day. It's been a wonderful, wonderful day for me. I'll have to tell you guys about it. Hey, Cyber Warrior. I told everyone earlier in the members only live. Hey, Catherine. Triple L, welcome in. And I was so excited to come home and tell you guys. I was like, I can't wait to go home and tell people online. I'm so random too, because it's weird. I have a connection with all of you guys. And hey, Lenora. And I like to come and tell you guys things. Hey, Mr. Rosebud. I think of ya. So, hey, Mandy. Welcome in, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just reading the chat as I kind of go down. Hey, Mr. Rosebud. Yeah, has anyone talked to Cheryl? I haven't talked to Cheryl at all. She just, Boone caught alive. Yes, she did. Hey, Boone. Hey, Bams. Hey, Lisa. Welcome in. It's good to see everybody. It's good to see you guys. I did pin the link if anybody wants to come up and have anything to say. If they have anything they want to say about the case, you're more than welcome to. You're my neighbor, Boone. I'm Ohio. You're pretty much my neighbor. Hey, Huckleberry. I like that name. TGIF. Do you remember TGIF back that when they played the shows and stuff? If you aren't my age and you're older, you probably have kids that, watch them. But all the cool shows were on TGIF. Boy Meets World, Family Matters, the good ones, Yeah, I could put the member link in the chat. This should take you over there. Now, if you do have an iPhone, you have to go through the actual Safari link and then go to YouTube that way. It's very weird. But if you're on YouTube on a computer, you can follow that link and that'll help you. Yeah, I know. My teeth. You guys have been with me though for it. Hey, Margot. You guys have really been, you've been there. To the point where I was in pain one night and you guys were like, get clove oil. So during my lives, I was in so much pain. I had this huge infection I didn't even know. And I would put clove oil on my tooth and then come back on camera. We still did it, Hey, Debbie. Hey, Poindexter. Hey, Jerry. Because the news doesn't stop. Neither do I. Hey, Jesse's girl. Hey, Willows. So it's good news. So, hey, KCG. Welcome in. Hey, Michael. I couldn't believe you have an iPhone? Okay. Oh, look at that. Bam's new. Look at that. Bam's MVP. That was the fastest I've seen anybody do that. Because usually when I try to describe it, people are like, huh? What? What do I do? So look at that. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You love the show Dallas. It came on Friday too. Yeah, broken teeth suck. Yeah. It gets me in such a bad mood. I know I'm actually not in a bad mood. I mean, I don't think anything could take my sunshine away from me today. And it's not it's my last tooth. It's not pointy. It's not hurting me. So we're good there. Hey, Darla. Welcome in. Welcome in, Darla. So before we get started, I'll tell you guys really quick what happened today with my dog. Is she available? She may be. Well, no, she's not available. You can't see her. She's right here. The other one, and then I got the cat in the bed over here. I've got all the animals with me tonight. But she's getting into a little ball. So if you guys don't know, my dog Araya got in a tussle with another dog. It was pretty serious. I planned on paying the lady her hospital bills and everything because I felt so bad, even though my dogs were on a leash and hers weren't. And then after talking to you guys and you guys saying, no, you should get a lawyer. This isn't right. Something's wrong here. They were on a leash and, all of those. So, and this dog kind of charged after her, even though this dog was smaller. I think that's why I was in my brain going, well, that dog was smaller than my dog. I don't know. Well, today I go to court, 9:00 this morning, going to court. And I'm the 10th person called. I was like, well, someone just call me already for Pete's sake. But they called me and I didn't know what I was going to plead. I was going to go in there and do either a continuance, try to get, or I was going to do no contest. And because I believe that I'm not at fault, but I also thought if a jury of my peers saw this dog, which they shouldn't go on based off the looks, but if they saw this dog, and it's all like sad looking, which it's not sad looking, we can hear it barking and stuff still to this day. If we I don't know, it was just weird. So I was like, I'm going to plead no contest. So I went up there and Your Honor, the whole thing, Your Honor, Your Honor. And I told her that I plead no contest. And she said, would you like to say something? And I said, of course, that would be great because no one's given me an opportunity. I just went and got a ticket. And so she read the arrest, or not the arrest, but the affidavit. She didn't arrest me. It was like an affidavit for, what happened. And then she was like, I find you not guilty. I almost fell on the floor. I have never heard, I've been in a lot of courtrooms. I've had friends that haven't gone to court. I've gone to court. I've been on juries before. I have never heard someone plead no contest and get a not guilty verdict. Normally, like 98% of the time, they will say, thank you for the no contest plea. I find you guilty. That's what they do. And when she said not guilty, I was like, thank you, Margot. 25 months, man. We got to get you a new arm. Thank you. Proud of you for standing up for the truth. I'm so glad that you guys told me to stand up for myself and stand up for her. I just was so scared that they were going to take my dog and put her to sleep. And that lady even said that, if I call the animal control, they'll take your dog. So then she goes down there. So to me, that in my brain says that you wanted to kill my dog and you wanted to file a civil suit on me. Well, go ahead, try it now, baby, because I'm not guilty. Not guilty. Yeah, she tried to, yep, Squeaky, that's exactly what it was. Because, and she calls us, she has her daughter call us, which is our neighbor. So we don't want to have bad neighbors, we don't want to have trouble. And she's like, I can't leave without my dog, or I can't leave without paying. They're going to keep my dog. And we're not those people. We love animals. So we set her $300, but we just did it. Just we didn't really do it out of it was our fault, more that it was just they should have their dog. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for me taking my dog out at that time, I don't know. I shouldn't have, did so many excuses for them, but I did. I know. Can you believe that? Remember how long was it? 25 months, man. That's 2 years. That's over 2 years. How did I do that? I got to be lucky. She was definitely, yeah. And she even told me she's on a fixed income, and it was, she makes more than my mom did. And my mom worked for 20 years on her feet, and she had to bury her husband. So, she should have got a little more. So, and I'm thinking you're staying with your daughter. What's going on here? So she's still here, but we haven't seen her. We think she's here. We don't think she left, but we haven't seen her or her dogs the last couple of days. So yeah, we're not paying her nothing. That was the 300 was it. Vincent was like, I want my 300 back. I was like, kind of would too. I know. Well, so then whenever we gave her the money, it was showing a sign of guilt. So I didn't mention that today at court. I didn't say I gave her money or anything. And they didn't ask, of course. No, no, this is about my dog. Not yet. But has anybody heard from yet? It's crazy. But we'll go ahead and we'll get to tonight's live. But I wanted to tell you guys, I wanted to tell everybody. I just wanted to do it on members only. That way, I don't know. I just didn't want it to mess up the algorithm, me putting a different video out. So I think Karma did today. And when you look it up online, you can already look it up online. And she knows my name. I wrote it down. So I'm hoping she looks online and she sees not guilty. She'll freak. She'll freak out. She'll probably freak. Squeaky. I know. I'm living with one eye. We're all cool over here. I was even going to make her eye patches. I was trying to think of cute ways to do stuff. I still think I might do that because, Hey, unnamed true crime. Oh, look, you changed it. Shannon May. Shannon May. Is that your middle name, May? That's such a good middle name if it is. Hey, Lori. My friend, before we get started, y'all get me when I see something, I'm like a squirrel. My friend named her son Owen Holiday, and I thought that was the cutest name. So I have a video for you guys that's a never before seen. Actually, it's probably seen before, but it's from our girl Kaylee. She's from the area. She's from Moscow, or in that area of Moscow, in Idaho, or she's from near the area. But she was over there the last couple of days, and she took some pictures and she took video because she asked me, if I would want anything. And I'm like, if you could take a video, that would be great. Like just like cruising around the area a little bit, just so we have our own video and we have our own feel for the neighborhood, especially if you're coming in on this case, later on, because some of you guys are. I wanted to show you guys this. So we'll start with this video. Sorry, my throat is like so froggy lately. And then we will, we'll go from there. We'll start, with our continuing of our coverage. So I didn't even get to watch all of this, actually. I just was like, we're going to play it. But let me get the stage. And then this is her just driving. So that's Sigma Chi there. You can see like the water tower for the school. And then this is the road that goes to King or Queen or whatever you want to call it road. Oh, I can almost hear it in her breath. Like she doesn't, it's like sad. There's the 1112 house. Looks kind of bigger, like by this angle. And then this will be, of course, it's not there. She did send pictures and she got a little bit of it too. But yeah, they haven't done anything with that property. Okay. Isn't that cute, Marco? I thought that was so cute. But yeah, this is the back parking lot area. I just thought it would be a good video to have. I'm glad she did this for us. This was really nice of her to do this. And I thought this area looked a little smaller to me because I don't watch like Gray Hughes or any of them. Like, and I watch them with you guys. Like I watched that one animation video that he did of the house, but I don't really watch a whole lot of his, like him driving. Like he did a lot of driving through here himself, but I haven't watched it really. Now I wonder if if this right here is considered number 52 Queen. Because they say that in the affidavit that they stop and they turn around at 52 Queen. I thought it was a 52 apartment, like number 52. Move out of her way. That's so sad. Hey, Trips True Talk. He's real rude, Willows. He is very rude. I don't know if you guys watch any like anti-MLM content, but I do. And I watch this girl, Cece Suarez, and she did a video on Gray Hughes and his grifting. And she doesn't even do videos on like creators on YouTube. She usually sticks to TikTok. And so I just thought that was I watched it. I was laughing my butt off at her commentary just because it's somebody outside of like true crime or crama or any of that or drama channels. It was pretty funny. If you don't know who she is, you have to look her up. I think her name is like Suarez. Oh, I don't know how to spell her last name. Like something like that. I know that's wrong. I'll have to look her up. But did you see it? It was hilarious. Yeah, well, he said, like, could you imagine if I got on here and I was like, I'm not going to stream anymore. I'm just going to sit here behind bars until someone bails me out of jail for $100. Would you? I'm about to do one of those one night just to get you. Oh, also, side note, Frankie's partner, she wants out of prison early. So we're gonna have to go over that too, because I saw that and I was like, oh no, she is not trying to. She's the catalyst for most of this. I mean, Ruby Frankie is the one that did it, but she's just as guilty. So this came out on okay, so let's start at the beginning, just in case you guys don't know. But we are continuing our coverage of Idaho 4. But we're going to be continuing, the deaths of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonzalez. They died, November 2022. And Bryan Kohberger is now going to be going on trial August of 2025. So we have been with this case, it'll be almost 3 years by the time he goes to trial. I cannot believe it's been this long. So they're going to break down. There's some detectives and then there's some like news reporters on this video. It's only about 5 minutes long and they kind of just go over the case. They cover what happened. I thought we'd start with this. Then there's a couple new documents that came out just the last, at least today or yesterday maybe, but I think they were from today. And then we'll watch, Nancy Grace came out with a new video and I thought it was pretty good. So we'll go over that. And I have something to debunk Joseph Scott Morgan one. So it'll be a good live. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button. That way we can get this out in the algorithm. You guys are always good about that. But thank you guys so much for being here.
You've got a front door that enters onto the basement floor. Then around the back, there's a deck. And then that has a sliding glass door that enters the second floor living area.
November 12th, it was game day. There was a big football game against UC Davis. That day, the housemates were all wearing, University of Idaho sweatshirts. They took a picture outside their house. Maddie sat on Kaylee's shoulders for the picture.
It's Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Then on either edge of the photo are the two other roommates, Bethany and Dylan.
After the girls were at the corner club, Kaylee and Maddie went to the grub truck, just like a food truck. Then they got a ride home.
Xana and Ethan came home around the same time as Maddie and Kaylee.
When everyone was back home at the house on King Road, they all chatted for a bit, and then they went to their various bedrooms. Kaylee and Madison went up to the third floor and they settled down together in Maddie's bedroom, while Kaylee's dog Murphy stayed in Kaylee's bedroom, which was across the hall. Xana and Ethan retired to Xana's room on the second floor, while Dylan went to her room, which was down the hall from that. Meanwhile, Bethany went to sleep in her bedroom, and that was on the basement level. There was an eyewitness account from one of the surviving roommates, and they were able to use that to reconstruct the movements of the killer that night.
The middle of the night, the suspect entered through the sliding glass doors on the main floor. And then there's a set of stairs which takes you up to the third floor.
We don't know that for sure. I'm just saying, we don't know that for sure. We haven't heard of that yet. I actually had my old book out. I should get it out again. My 3-ring binder, it is completely full of notes from this case, different polls that we did and stuff like that. Now I remember we did a poll way back in 2023, maybe 2023. And it was, do you think that he entered through the slider door or through the front door? And I believe 85% of you guys believe that he went through the slider door. I'm a front door person. I think he may have went through the front door.
I believe his intended target was one of the girls upstairs.
He had a K-bar knife. It's like one step away from a samurai sword. It's a crazy weapon. He wanted a physical battle.
He entered the bedroom where Kaylee and Maddie were sleeping and attacked them with the knife. It only took a few moments.
Dylan, one of the roommates in the house, heard noises above her. Her information is vital. She provides an eyewitness account. She puts the killer in the home at the time of the killings.
Dylan opens her door once, sees nothing, texts her housemates to be quiet. She's trying to go to sleep.
Meanwhile, the fifth roommate, Bethany, was believed to be asleep in her bedroom down on the basement level.
At the same time, Zaina and Ethan had just gotten the DoorDash, and I think as the killer was coming down, maybe like one of them like peeked out and saw him.
There was a struggle outside Xana's room. Ethan was mortally wounded. Xana fought for her life, but they couldn't save each other.
The dog's barking. Dylan hears some yelling and some commotion. You know, she's yelling upstairs for the dog to stop barking.
Dylan got up and went to her door again. This time, when she looked out, she saw the dark figure of a man dressed all in black.
He's wearing a mask. All she can see are his eyes and his bushy eyebrows, which really stand out to her. And he just walks right past her without saying anything and walks out the back of the house. All of this takes place within about 15 minutes. This is still about 4:15 a.m. And she stays in her room and she doesn't call police for another 8 hours.
Okie dokie. I don't know what Paige is talking about in the chat, but I don't think she's talking to me. Because never grifted for anything in my life. I could, but I wouldn't. You know. But welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What did I want? Why does this look like it's not the one I wanted to read you? No, it is. Okay. This is just the same document almost. Hold on, let me see. Okay, they're not the same, but they're very similar. So this one I didn't get a highlight. I highlighted it, and then for some reason when I pulled it back up, it wasn't highlighted anymore. And I'm like, okay. But these are going to be for the attorneys for Bryan Kohberger, State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. And it's the notice of filing affidavit in support of defendant's objection to the state's motion in limine. And it says it's reply to the AT&T timing advanced records. And it just says here basically that Bryan, Bryan through his attorney of record, it says, and hereby files the accompanying affidavit of Cy Ray in support of their objection to the state's motion in limine. Reply AT&T timing advance records filed with the court on March 17th, 2025. This affidavit is filed pursuant to the court's March 18th, 2025 order denying witness testimony at the April 9th hearing. Subject to the court's hearing remote testimony. She will not accept the answer no. She basically, they told her she can't have her expert witness come in because it's not going to be relevant and with the trial. It's just not. But she is insistent on filing this paperwork. So she's filed this. And then she attached the same thing I'm going to read to you guys here. So she attached Cy Ray's affidavit. So it says here, this is the notice of filing affidavit in support of defendant's motion in limine number 2. And we read this, we read the defendant's motion, and then we read the state's, reply. And now this is their reply to the state's reply. Comes now Bryan Kohberger, by and through his attorney. And it just says this is going to be the affidavit. So we'll go down to the affidavit. It's the same thing that we read just a minute ago. Now, I guess they're getting people from out of Idaho to be their expert witnesses. They can't find people in the state of Idaho because this person's from the state of Arizona, County of Maricopa. And this says, I'm an adult over 18 and I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth in this affidavit. To avoid repetition, please refer to my training and experience in the accompanying affidavit. Okay, that's kind of rude, but okay. In preparing this affidavit, I have reviewed the motion in limine number 2, vague and undisclosed expert testimony filed by the defendant on 2/24/25. I have reviewed all of the state's responses in reference to this motion, as well as S.A. Balance's draft report and final report. I am addressing the matter of FBI Special Agent Nicholas Balance's anticipated testimony in this affidavit and what has not been disclosed. Maybe I can make that a little bigger. And now the third disclosure. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I have reviewed the initial reports, final report, first disclosure, second disclosures, and now the third disclosure. Despite this progression of disclosure, S.A. Balance's opinions on the relevant issues at hand still have not been disclosed. I have reviewed disclosures in reference to S.A. Balance's interpretations and opinions relating to AT&T call detail records. They are vague and at times contradictory. At this time, I am unable to identify his methodologies and the resulting opinions on most of his work, preventing me from any real analysis to determine the basis of his opinion. The disclosure in reference to the facts and case relied on S.A. Balance's to form his opinion regarding AT&T cell detail records are conflicting and void of substance. This sounds like Ann Taylor wrote this. His work does not contain the methodology other than a paragraph. He does not mention AT&T handoff data, drive test mapping, or any other critical methodology required in this analysis. Maybe they didn't use that. The report does not provide explanation why S.A. Balance may or may not rely on AT&T data, preventing me from any real analysis of his opinion. Now, again, I don't believe they have to give you their playbook. They can give you the evidence that they're going to bring to trial, and that's all they have to do. I regularly work as a subject matter expert, and it is standard in my field for expert opinions to be well documented and based on accepted best practice or methodology. The fact and data relied upon to reach an opinion are known and disclosed. S.A. Balance's work is a departure from the field standard. He has not disclosed his methodology and analysis for his opinions. A, this is partially due to contradicting methodologies that have been disclosed. B, this is partially due to vague work product absent of any real substance as to facts and data. C, this is particularly due to changes that evolve through iterations of work product without explanation and documented by facts and data as a basis. Number 9. I did note that S.A. Balance has a dual role in this case. He is an expert witness for the state, and using these same skills, he was involved in the actual investigation from the onset. He was co-located with investigators throughout the investigation. His opinions and interpretations were relied on by investigators and prosecutors. These interpretations and opinions found their way into every probable cause statement supporting search warrants against the defendant. He is referenced in nearly every search warrant issued. Okay, I don't remember seeing his name, but his opinions and interpretations were an integral part of building probable cause against the defendant. He must have just signed his name because I don't really remember hearing S.A. Balance. Maybe we have. I don't remember hearing that. Do you guys remember that? Hey, Robot. Mary Beth in here? It will, won't it? Hey, Mary Beth. I just saw someone said Mary Beth. So I was like, oh, Mary Beth's here. Richard thing, Ashley. Someone did a guy hit on you? Makes you feel good? Be like, thanks, but no thanks. It says, it is, unfortunately, most of his opinions and interpretations provided to investigators and prosecutors are not supported by the evidence in this case. It is this, like, what, and give us an example of that. Like, that's what I don't get. Like, give us an example of how his, opinions and interpretations and all that are wrong. It is the very reason I was awaiting SA Balance's report detailing the facts, data, methodology, and analysis relied on to make such egregious errors. I expected to see work that explained the conclusions as well as properly addressing omitted analysis and errors in the work. The omitted work in this case is exculpatory to Mr. Kohberger. Okay, what omitted work? The intentional omission of exculpatory evidence. SA Balance did not include analysis of AT&T handoff data provided by AT&T for the defendant's mobile device on November 13th, 2022, between the hours of 2:30 a.m. and 3 a.m. The handoff data in the defendant's AT&T records during this time is exculpatory to the defendant. Well, the dude had his phone off. So SA Balance did not include any analysis of AT&T data regarding 23 time periods in this report that he appears to be suggesting the defendant was at or very near the crime scene. This opinion appears to be based off of cell tower connections, primarily handoff connections in the defendant's AT&T records. It is difficult to determine the process or methodology SA Balance relied on to suggest this connection for several reasons because the AT&T records do not support the statement. Okay, let's see. There is no report or analysis detailing the defendant's movement between June 2022 and December of 2022, which would be needed to surmise the defendant's phone was at or near the crime scene 23 times prior to the homicides. Okay. I don't know if there's or not. There is no mapping showing the network connections relied upon. There is no drive test coverage maps on other than one cell site. A recent disclosure about SA Balance may testify to reads hands-offs are mapped on a case-by-case basis, which is determined by the needs of the investigation. From my experience as a subject matter expert in this field, this claim is outside of my established best practice or relied methodology of analysis. The standard is that all data must be analyzed and considered regardless of how it impacts the investigation. And that's the truth. I have reviewed the disclosure about what SA Balance will testify to and do not find the disclosure provide further analysis to support his opinions. The first cell site recorded in this session is the only cell site that is chosen based on measurements made by the cell phone representing the best signal from these measurements and ranking of surrounding cell sites. This theory can be disproven with the AT&T records themselves. This response does not explain why he would use handoff data at certain times while ignoring it at other times. The coverage maps are created using the actual measurements taken by the GAR and interpolation using the natural neighbor algorithm. In other words, it is looking at known values at known locations to determine the expected value at a location where a measurement couldn't have been taken. The natural neighbor algorithm was first published by Robin Simpson in 1981 and is widely accepted in both academia and as an industrial standard in determining the coverage of a particular cell site within a broader cellular network. He likes to do word salad too, like Anne. But it'll get better. This statement falls well short of any real disclosure of how I don't know if it's GAR product or GAR product estimates cell site coverage areas. I have been in direct contact with Gladiator Forensics, and this statement contradicts what Gladiator Forensics communicated to me about their own products. A recent disclosure states page 13 depicts cellular phone usage by the 8458 phone on November 13th, 2022, and Balance is expected to testify that when the 8458 phone interacted with the AT&T network at 2:47, 29 seconds a.m. The phone was not at Bryan Kohberger's residence, marked BK on the map. Rather, it was at southeast of Bryan Kohberger residence, as depicted by the drive test data. Balance is also expected to testify that he analyzed additional handoff data that occurred during this data session, and that the 8458 phone stopped communicating with the network at 2:54:45, and the 8458 number, that is Bryan Kohberger's. This disclosure does not provide any analysis or opinion as to what SA Balance found when he analyzed the additional handoff data that occurred during this data session. This is the very data I previously testified about having been omitted from SA Balance's work product and opinions. SA Balance conducted a significant amount of drive test data, has not provided that data to support his work. Drive test data is collected when an investigator takes radio frequency survey equipment out into the field and collects signal measurement of the cellular network by driving specific grid patterns through an area. It is possible to capture enough data to reliably estimate a cell site's coverage area. I'm sure that they called the cell site, like they got a hold of whoever, runs that cell site, and they got the coverage map. There's probably a map that they already did to where they don't need to go out and be measuring stuff, in my opinion. In this case, SA Balance and SA Kennedy spent several days conducting drive tests in and around Pullman and Moscow. In all, they collected well over 500,000 data points, enough data points to effectively map the coverage areas of all relevant cell sites related to this case, that being roughly 24 cell sectors. SA Balance has only produced coverage mapping for 4 sectors. Well, a minute ago, you just said one cell site, so I don't know. SA Balance has collected the required data and does not have access to the required software to map all of the sectors he analyzed in his drive test efforts. I'm pretty sure that he has the available software. He's the FBI. The conversion of raw data to a coverage image is relatively non-existent when compared to the effort required to collect the raw data. SA Balance, in accordance with FBI CAST policy, had his work product peer-reviewed by another FBI CAST agent, SA Kennedy. They are official reports stating SA Kennedy did peer review SA Balance's work product and signed off as it being complete and accurate. I create the first subject matter expert certification course in the United States in this field for state and local law enforcement. He created it. Okay. I have taught this course for over a decade, certifying over 100 subject matter experts in this field. The judge already said you can't testify, dude. Come on. Part of that course includes the peer review process. The standards of the field dictate the data must support a peer review. I have personally completed well over 50 peer reviews myself. The state has not disclosed the required data to support a peer review of SA Balance's work. So, yeah, he's not happy. But they had to go all the way to Maricopa County to find him. So, hey, Aries. Hey, Kate. Hey, Kake. I don't know what's going on with my voice. My voice is going away, guys. I need my voice. Yeah, I have 2 dogs. And court went well. I will. Thanks, Pet Mama, too. I will. She's been getting a lot of loving today. She when I got home, I was dancing around with them, and like they don't know how to take me when I do stuff like that, because I don't do that very often, but like because it kind of scares the gray dog. She's like scared of that. But yeah, we were definitely having a great day. Having a great day today. So the only thing, that could be better is if my tooth wouldn't have broke off. And Paige left us. Oh, no. Oh, there's Paige. Okay, I'm so glad I went back up in the chat. I was like, me? But no, MLM, they are grifters. Oh gosh. I have a girl on Facebook. She's in that MLM stuff. And she's always talking about how much money she has. And if you talk about how much money you have, you ain't got no money. You know what I mean? Like, come on, girl. You ain't got no money. So Nancy Grace was on a little bit of a she was on fire tonight. I was listening to her before I came on the live, and I was like, well, go get it. She has actually a really good panel on tonight too, except for Chris McDonough. She has him, but you know, we gotta take the good with the bad. Is she going to play?
Breaking news.
Oh, okay. She was just spinning there for a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this. We'll cut in and everything, and we'll talk about all the stuff that has been like going on in the last week or so with Bryan Kohberger. They're going to touch on a few different things, and then when she touches on them, then we'll kind of go over them as well. The channel link is pinned. If anybody does want to come up on panel, you guys are more than welcome to. I always try to pin the link at the top of the chat. Sometimes you just have to like click it because it just doesn't say it. But yeah, I see, Aries. I heard that, but then now it's only like a 40% chance of rain. I'm gonna check again because I've been thinking of you because you're the one that told me. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play Nancy. If you guys don't mind, take a quick second, hit the like button. It really does help help my channel out, help your channel out. This is actually your channel. I just come on every night. This is all for you guys. But if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, you guys are so good at doing that. I do appreciate it so much. And look at Nancy's face. She pissed.
Tonight, a bombshell in the Bryan Kohberger defense. Did Bryan Kohberger actually buy a Dick's Sporting Good black balaclava? Why do I care? Because it's the exact same mask drawn.
Yeah, he bought it.
By the survivor witness who lived through the murders that night. This, as Kohberger fights tooth and nail to suppress a 12-page paper. Why? He wrote the paper in school, and it describes multiple murders, including the murder of a white female with what else? A knife. Even including details that she, the white female victim, would dig her fingernails into her killer's skin and likely reveal DNA. Too close for comfort, Kohberger? Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
On location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something's happening in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122 T Road.
That 911 call brings us all back to the reality of what happened to 4 beautiful University Idaho students slaughtered, as some say, butchered in their own beds. And now the man charged with all 4 murders is fighting tooth and claw to keep one tiny Dick's Sporting Good purchase away from a jury. Why? I think I know why. Listen.
No one is answering. I'm really confused right now.
Yeah, dude, what the Xana was wearing all black.
I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like a ski mask almost.
Shut the up. Actually?
Like he had something over his forehead and mouth. Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out.
So am I.
My phone is going to die.
Come to my room. Run down here.
I'm screwed though.
Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone.
What you just heard is the contents of text messages that were exchanged between the 2 survivors that were in the scene of the murder, that were there that night. Their 4 roommates were murdered. That's between Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. Now, Dylan Mortensen is describing he had something over his forehead and mouth. I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. She goes on later. How can I say this? Okay. You've seen on TV or crime shows, a movie maybe, where the witness is help to draw a composite. And they go, oh no, the nose is too long. The ears are too big. The eyebrows are this. The mouth is different. She draws with her own hands the balaclava that the intruder was wearing that night. I guess they are fighting to keep that sketch and that purchase out. Joining me in All-Star Panel to make sense of what we know right now, Kohberger trying to suppress a slew of evidentiary items. Listen.
A recent court filing shows that defense attorneys want Venmo, PayPal, and bank records for the accused quadruple killer blocked from court, while the exact content of these records are not.
I'm calling it now. I'm going to say it was an Under Armour one. Balaclava. Because he had all Under Armour on when he was arrested. It seems like he likes the brand.
Discussed, the filing mentions a purchase from Under Armour on June 24, 2022, 5 months before the murders, and a purchase from Dick's Sporting Goods in the same month. The records likely also show Kohberger's purchase of the K-bar knife, suspected to be the weapon used in the murders.
We were trying to determine what is it about these purchases that they want so desperately to suppress. Oh, did I mention a replacement knife?
While a court filing last week confirmed that Kohberger purchased a K-bar knife and sharpener 8 months prior to the murders, a new filing alleges that Kohberger's Amazon click history also proves he was searching for a replacement in the weeks after the murders. Defense attorneys may be planning to counter the evidence with arguments that Amazon's algorithm simply suggested an item based on his previous purchase history.
You know, sometimes you just have so much evidence. You don't know which way to go. Straight out to Chris McDonough joining me. You know him well. I found him on the Interview Room. He's the star of that on YouTube.
She's going to say something that's hilarious here in a minute. So just wait for it. She's going to say like something about how she was watching Chris McDonough's like podcast and she couldn't. She's like, I did like torture myself to sit through it or something. Like she says something like that. And he makes this like face and it's just pure gold. It's pure. It's Nancy just being Nancy, you know? Hey, baby girl. It may have one.
But more important, he's the director of the Cold Case Foundation, and he has worked over 300 homicides. You first wave the red flag about Amazon purchases. I guess you've heard about the balaclava. I'm going to circle back to that. But you went through an intense discussion and analysis of purchases on Amazon. And now we know why Chris McDonough, the replacement knife. That's why they wanted that suppressed so desperately. He leaves the crime scene, according to police. He's driving that long, circuitous route that you and I have both driven in the middle of the night. No street lights. I nearly ran off the road 3 times. Then he goes, well, wait. Where is the knife sheath? So what does he do? It's the clicks. You said it first, Chris McDonough. He doesn't want the jury to know he was looking for a replacement knife.
I'm going to stop it right there for a minute. Okay. Bryan Kohberger, I think that he is an idiot. Like they were going to find your Amazon click history, right? But I don't think that he's too far of an idiot to not think that if he bought a second K-bar knife, that they would be like, okay, cool. Where's the first one? We got your history. Do you know what I mean? Like they're going to have his Amazon history. They're going to know that he bought 2 knives. I feel like him being a PhD student in criminal justice, he should have known that. And if he didn't, you're a big dummy. How did you get in the PhD program? I got my bachelor's and know those things. Like I know those things. I mean, you should know those things. Just like Google searches. And how come we haven't seen any Google searches yet? I love the Google searches. I hope there are Google searches in this case. I would love that for us.
He had already bought a knife, a sheath, and now we know a knife sharpener. That's why they don't want us to know about the clicks. Chris?
Absolutely, Nancy. And what's interesting about this is for some reason they were on top of that almost within 2 weeks after the homicides. And they they served a search warrant in November 26th, and the search warrant returned December 8th of 2022. And so the defense here has been working full time, to try to suppress those clicks, because that is just damning evidence. And you're right. He then went back to try to order a second, looks like, knife and or sheath, as kind of the old bait and switch if the authorities were onto it. Once he discovered he actually lost, if he's the guy, of course, if he lost that, sheath at the crime scene.
Right.
Would you be giving a thumbs up like that if you left a sheath at the crime scene? I don't know. 6 hours later, you big dummy.
Hey, Chris McDonough, when I was watching you on your show, The Interview Room, you and your guests were going on and on about the analytical data of Amazon. I'm like, where is this going? I forced myself to listen to it. Of course, I was interested in it because I love any type of evidence. If I don't even understand it at the moment, I sense that it's important. And I could tell by what you were saying, those clicks, that data was going to be very important because it didn't necessarily result in a purchase, but he's looking to replace the sheath that he left behind. Okay, hold on. Joe Scott Morgan joining me, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. But for my purposes, he's a death investigator that has investigated over 1,000 death scenes. Joe Scott, you have been taking a very close look at that K-bar knife. And I'm wondering, in your analysis, could you buy the sheath separately, or does it come with the knife?
It comes with the knife. Actually, my beautiful bride, God bless her.
He's talking about you, Ashley. Don't worry. If she's still in the chat.
Bought this knife for me and surprised me with it. And it's not normally the type of gift that you get from someone who cares about you, but she knew that we had been covering this case, and she wanted me to have this just so that I could, have it and feel the weight of it, this sort of thing. And it comes with the sheath, Nancy. So if you were to purchase a sheath separate, it would have to come from the manufacturer.
Now I'm going to stop him right there. You can get a knife. Joseph Scott Morgan, don't you come after me. Okay. I love you. You look like you've lost some weight. I'm concerned, but you can get a K-bar knife sheath on Amazon. Let me share this tab here, and like right here, K-bar leather knife sheath, $18.98. Then you got this one, and it says, that one says U.S. Army. This one actually has the USMC insignia on it. K-bar, you know what I mean? Like these ones are very similar. So you can buy the sheath on Amazon. There's more sheaths, if you wanted to. Sorry, Joseph Scott Morgan. But you probably would have to go to the manufacturer if it's a certain length. I think they only have a couple lengths and the one on Amazon.
You would have to order it specifically or go out to some vendor out there somewhere that could probably furnish you with maybe a knockoff, but it's certainly not the original K-bar knife.
I asked my husband for a flamethrower for Christmas, and he didn't give me one. I'm going to use this as an example of the perfect gift.
There you go.
Let me think this through. Cheryl McCollum is joining me, Cold Case Investigative Research Institute founder, forensic expert, and star of Zone 7 podcast. Cheryl, I can't wait to see what those clicks are. I haven't even gotten to the balaclava yet. Okay, I'm getting there. But the clicks, I'm like, it's a Rubik's Cube, and I'm trying to make it fit right now. Do you think, Cheryl, that he was clicking through trying to find a replacement sheath? Or was he trying to find out if he could buy it separately from the knife? Was he going to buy a whole new knife and a sheath to go, look, here it is. There's not any blood on it. What do you think, Cheryl?
To give him the benefit of the doubt, I'm going to say this. It could have been on his recommendations, and he could have been like, oh yeah, there's a K-bar. I'm going to click on it. Like that could be a click history. My opinion, my personal humble opinion is he was getting his little murder kit back together. I don't know. I know it was after the murders. I don't know exactly how long after the murders he was buying this K-bar knife, but you think about it, you're a free bird for 6 weeks. Wonder how many days go by or weeks go by and how like where you start to get a little cocky. Do you know what I mean? So I'm wondering if he was just getting himself another knife to maybe do this to somebody else.
That's exactly what he was attempting to do, in my opinion. He needed a replacement because the murder weapon, he had to get rid of it because it was saturated with blood. He knew he had lost or left the sheath behind. He had to have a replacement, no doubt about it.
In the last hours, a Bryan Kohberger purchase at Dick's Sporting Goods is offering bombshell evidence in this case. Greg Morse joining me. He is a high-profile lawyer that's tried more cases probably than he can count. Greg Morse, partner at King Morse, author of The Untested on Amazon. Greg, I know how you and your friends in the defense bar love to discredit an eyewitness. In fact, it's so commonly done, it's laid out in black and white in the criminal code as if it's law, the ways to attack an eyewitness. Oh, do you wear glasses? Were you wearing them that night? How far away were you from the scene? What was the lighting? Were you distracted? Were you inebriated? Were you on prescription drugs or anything else? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's by rote. But what about this? What about this with no urging, no tutorial? You have the survivor. It's Dylan Mortensen, and she's texting that night. That night, she has just seen the intruder. She cracks her door and looks out, and she sees him. And I guess she shut it and moved back. She is the witness that describes the intruder dressed in dark clothing, tall white male with bushy eyebrows. That night, she says, basically, at the time of the murders, he had something over his forehead and mouth. I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. Then she draws. Let's take a look at her drawing. I sent you a picture of it, Greg, because I knew it would send chills down your spine. She draws a balaclava. And guess who buys a balaclava?
Or do you have a
balaclava?
Well,
let me guess. I'm just curious. I don't. Do you?
I have 3 of them because
Don't
I'm a skier, so I have 3 of them. Yes. Very common thing to buy, especially in Idaho for the winter where the weather is cold. The way to attack this is the commonality of it. I saw the drawing she made, the person made. It's a common thing. It's nothing unique about it. And the way to challenge this, to try to keep it out, which is very difficult, is that
it is unique.
You're going to show this is a common purchase by people. There's no linking it to the case. There's no linking this specific one Kohberger bought to this
where
case.
is
So
it?
it's a generic mask that
show us it then.
Probably hundreds of thousands of people have purchased from Dick's over the years, maybe millions. So that's how you challenge it. Very common. I've dealt with this with guns. When a 38 is used to kill someone and there's no ballistics and they find a 38 at the suspect house, you challenge it on its commonality, that it's prejudicial to introduce it and link it to the defendant in the particular case. And you
Greg Morse.
But they
Well
could,
done.
if they did ballistics test and it came back and it was matched to the gun.
Very well done. Let me throw this at you. What about the purchase of a K-bar knife and a sheath and a balaclava? Hit me.
Well, Nancy, I've been doing this for 25 years and my job has gotten much harder. This is a criminology major, so I would flip the motive, which is pretty clear for the prosecution. He was doing a Leopold and Loeb type thing. That he knew about it and decided to buy this knife afterwards for his studies or something and follow the case.
Rewind. Sadly, I'm going to hold you to the facts. Sydney Summer joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Sydney, he's half right and half wrong. He's right about a balaclava, let's just say in Idaho. Maybe many people have them to ski. But then let's throw in the clicking for a replacement knife and sheath. But he said that was after the murders. But isn't it true, Sydney Sumner, that Kohberger purchased a K-bar knife exactly like the one that was used in the murders based on the sheath that was left behind far prior to the murders? In fact, as I recall, he bought the knife and the sheath back in March of 2022. I mean, 8 months before the murders.
Yes, Nancy, that's quite a long time to have that knife in your
Yeah.
possession before doing this. And the balaclava was purchased even further back.
The timing, Sydney, the timing is so important because based on my research, he made the Dick's purchase of the balaclava 11 months before, on Jan 10, 22. He makes the knife sheath purchase 8 months before, March 2022. We also have, I don't know if this is going to come into evidence or not, the purchase of one of those Dickie outfits, which, there you go.
Well, there we go.
Which you could very easily just zip down and get out of it and then throw it away. Then we've got the
Get on our level,
clicking
Nancy.
and attempted purchase of a replacement knife and sheath after the murders. Okay, do I have those dates correct? Because Morse is right. You can fight back on the balaclava. Yeah, I get it. But can you fight back on the balaclava that the witness describes identical to that purchase? The knife, the sheath, the Dickies uniform, the replacement knife, the replacement sheath. I mean, it's adding up, Sydney.
Absolutely, Nancy. It's very overwhelming, and the defense is fighting tooth and nail to keep all of this out. Their latest arguments just last night that the Amazon account is shared by Kohberger's family members.
Who shares an Amazon account when they're 28 years old with their mom and dad? I don't know. Maybe you do.
One of the roommates just passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she not wake me up. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
Did you see the video of two of the victims at the grub truck? It was late in the night, the morning, going into the morning hours, that they were murdered in their own beds. For some reason, Bryan Kohberger's defense team is trying to suppress this and a lot of other video, which we're going.
She now says, bring them up, bring them back up on panel.
To get to, I believe much of that video is going to show his vehicle en route to the murder scene. But can I just comment for our guests? Shopping lists are murder. That's the general consensus when it comes to Bryan Kohberger. We've been talking about the Amazon clicks. We've been talking about Dick's Sporting Good. It goes on and on. But when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. I believe we're going to find many other items in Kohberger's records he's trying to suppress. Isn't this right, Sydney Summer? PayPal purchases, Venmo purchases, Amazon purchases and searches, and much more. There's going to be more that we find that is damning in Bryan Kohberger's shopping list.
I think that's absolutely true, Nancy. They still have not unsealed any information, any reasoning as to why all of Kohberger's financial records are relevant to the case and what evidence they will produce.
Well, because his financial records are relevant because he bought the crap for the homicides on his cards.
The defense has made a small comment that it's supposed to show his spending habits. But other than that, we don't know why all of these bank records have been pulled.
I guarantee you, we're going to find cleaning supplies.
Yep.
Joining me,
I was going to say
Cheryl
that
McCollum,
Albertsons.
forensic expert and founder of the Cold Case Research Institute. I'm sure you recall our investigation into Bryan Walsh after the murder and I believe dismemberment of his wife, Anna. Her body has never been found.
Yeah.
Listen to what he bought at Lowe's, Cheryl.
Oh,
Five
yeah.
5-gallon buckets, a handsaw, 48 terry cloth towels, a Tyrek full coverage suit, shoe guards, mop, a cutting tool called snips, 200 disposable rags, trash bags, Murphy oil soap. Then he goes to another store. Yeah, let's sprinkle it around. Oh, there he is. Look at that. That was the purchases at Lowe's, and there he is. At CVS, he buys 13 different types of hydrogen peroxide. Then he goes to Stop and Shop, 3 64-ounce jugs of ammonia. He goes to Home Goods, 3 area rugs and scented candles. I believe one of his searches was how long till a body starts to smell.
It did.
At
It
Home
did.
Depot, just to round it out, 3 5-gallon buckets with leak-proof lids, a hatchet, plastic sheeting, 24 pounds of baking soda, and another Tyrek suit. Wow.
Yeah, Bryan
Talk
Walsh, a
about
piece
some
of crap.
cleanup, Cheryl McCollum. That was Bryan Walsh, and I'm very curious why, with all of his analysis, there's just nothing like the real thing, right, Cheryl? You can study about it all the way through your PhD. But when it comes right down to committing mass murder, details. The devil is in the details, Cheryl McCollum.
Always. And Nancy, this is going to go straight into the prosecution's timeline. You may look at Israel Key's list and think, oh, this guy's going camping, till you know how to read it. When you look at the purchases and these searches, those are really going to be critical. And you've got a knife with a sheath and the mask. It's not just, something for skiing. And when you're looking at Kohberger specifically and the eyewitness that he left alive in her drawing, this, overall shopping list is a roadmap to his plotting and planning of this murder. And these things are going to be weaved into this timeline, just like his cell phone pings and his traffic tickets.
Dr. Bethany Marshall, psychoanalyst, I believe that there are certain personalities, and this does not rise to an insanity defense. They can't help but
Why is she so see-through? Like, why is the lighting on this lady always so bright? And is she really that light complected? Or is it the lighting, my man? Because, ma'am, you look like you're see-through, honey. Girl's looking like she's in heaven. That was pretty funny.
Compulsively, some would say anal compulsively, make plans. I'm sure you recall, it's in your jurisdiction. That's why I saved this for you. Robert Blake, who absolutely orchestrated the murder of his wife, Bonnie Lee Bakley. Listen to his shopping list. Now, I got this from the prosecutor's complaint against him. He had his henchperson Caldwell purchase a grisly shopping list. It included 2 shovels, a small sledge, a crowbar, a .25 caliber gun, old rugs, duct tape, Drano, pool acid, and lye. And he wrote it down in a list, Bethany. I wonder, Kohberger had to make a list. Warning, he's innocent until proven guilty. But can they not help themselves?
Nancy, you talked about the meticulous planning. And as I've said so many times before on your show, sociopaths, and in particular psychopaths, they're the same as sociopaths, but you have the addition of cruelty in terms of their personality. They are very empty internally. They don't get excited by the things you and I do. And because of that, they use cruelty to get sexual excitement. Nancy, let's look at Robert Blake. It would have been so much cheaper just to get a divorce, right? I mean, just to send her on her merry way. But no, he wanted to He wanted her off this earth. He didn't want her anywhere around. That's a little bit different from Bryan Kohberger, who I believe actually this was very thrilling for him. So I think what we're going to find on his
Look how little
computer is
Murphy
S&M
was.
porn, rape videos, maybe child pornography. I'm going to be very interested in what motivates him sexually, what we see on his computer in his digital life, and how that also links him to the crime.
We also know about Natalie Keepers and David Eisenhower plotting the murder of a little 12 or 13-year-old girl, Nicole Lovell. And they go to, I think, a barbecue joint and make a list of all the cleaning supplies and items they're going to need to kill the little girl and to clean up. Her body was found naked on the side of the road. It had been wiped down. There's Nicole, wiped down with wet wipes. So, you know, Sydney Sumner, the shopping list is damning for Bryan Kohberger.
Absolutely. There's just no way around this, Nancy. It's information that's been speculated or known for a long time, and it's really interesting to see it coming together in the state's case, because how do you explain that? I mean, I was talking about this with my fiance last night. He has a balaclava for hunting. When it's dark, you want to keep the rest of your face as dark as possible when you're sitting in a blind hunting a deer. What other reasonable explanation do you have for a balaclava? We said skiing earlier. Idaho does get cold. But I asked him, would you ever wear this in public if you weren't doing something that required it? If you weren't skiing, if you weren't hunting, would you ever wear this out? And his flat answer is no. Why would I ever have a reason to own this, to use this on a regular basis, not for that purpose?
I mean, if you get really cold.
She's what's wrong? She's not waking up. What's wrong?
In addition to damning shopping lists indicated by clicks on Amazon, at Dick's Sporting Good, at Under Armour, we don't know why the defense wants to suppress purchases at Under Armour yet, but we'll find out. In addition to that, the defense is fighting tooth and claw to suppress a 12-page assignment paper that Kohberger wrote in 2020 and more. Listen.
In arguments against its inclusion, the defense reveals that prosecutors plan to enter into evidence records from Kohberger's graduate studies in psychology at DeSales University. The filing says they have received discovery including Kohberger's school calendar, written coursework, testing, emails, and syllabi from his time as a master's student, and the attorneys failed to see its relevance. As part of his theses, Kohberger worked with professors to develop a survey exploring how emotions influence a criminal's decision-making during the commission of a violent crime.
It's not just the creepy survey he sent out to violent felons, asking them about how they felt at the time of the crime, what went through their mind, how did they pick their target, how did they get out, how did they plan the whole thing. Very, very detailed questioning. But now a 12-page assignment paper has emerged, and the defense is fighting to keep it suppressed away from the jury. Sydney Sumner, what is it?
Nancy, so this comes as a filing from the state rebutting the defense's recent, hey, you've given us all of this discovery. It's so much information. What are you trying to do with this? It has to be kept out because I can't figure out what you are going to use in court. So the state came back and said, here is exactly what we plan to use in court, and filed this 12-page assignment from Kohberger that he completed as a master's student at DeSales University. And this assignment, it's unclear exactly what the instructions are, if this was a scenario that the professor came up with, but Kohberger's job was to go through every single step to secure and process that crime scene for evidence. So it's a list and list and list of bullet points of what needs to be done in what order, what tools you need, what to look for. So it's very detailed, and it's coincidentally a stabbing.
Prosecutors want to use a school paper that allegedly details a crime scene very similar to the crime scene in the Idaho sleigh. Now, listen to this, Cheryl McCollum.
Not that much. Just the victim was a woman. It was one victim. We read this last night, and she was found in the living room.
He states,
but that was a stabbing. It was a stabbing.
in the paper, as if he were processing the scene. I should make sure to swab under her, the white female murder victim, her fingernails to see if DNA of the offender is there.
Well, failed to do that.
She likely dug into his skin, he wrote. In excruciating details, he describes how first responders should handle the crime scene. Using as an example, what else? A deceased white female. Murder weapon? A knife.
Yep. This is absolutely going to be something that the prosecution is going to highlight because it shows he had knowledge. He had knowledge of where DNA could be found and located on a murder victim. And then they're going to show the purchase of the clothing and the mask and gloves and other items to prevent that very thing from happening.
What about it? Straight back to you, Greg Morse. How do you defeat bringing this in? It's basically a blueprint of the murders.
So this is a common issue today. It deals with rap lyrics. The most recent case is Alanis v. US, where rap lyrics are allowed to come in. And I think the defense has a really hard time. Their main argument would be that there's no crime that occurred when the paper was written, that it was after the crime.
We can pull up his rap lyrics and we can bring them into trial too.
So in the rap lyric cases, the lyrics talk about a crime that already occurred and specifically, and that's how the prosecutors are getting this in. So I would defend this on it's irrelevant. It happened before the crime, years before. It was for a class that he was asked to write this paper. It doesn't provide any direct evidence to the crimes, but it's going to be very hard for the defense to challenge this.
Relevance. He describes a white female victim at a murder scene digging her nails into her killer, and that an EMT or a scene processor like Cheryl McCollum should get fingernail clippings from the victim for potential DNA. That's why it's relevant. Listen.
Bryan Kohberger's defense team has revealed a major curveball for his upcoming trial. A newly unsealed court filing discloses that investigators found 3 unknown profiles from DNA underneath victim Madison Mogen's fingernails. Clippings from Mogen's left hand unearthed the samples, but testing has not determined who they belong to. Comparisons of the profiles to Kohberger's DNA were inconclusive. The accused quadruple killer has not been confirmed or excluded as a source.
The defense also wants almost all video evidence tossed, claiming there's no way they can review it in time for trial. At the crux of their argument is possibly a key piece of evidence, footage from a nearby apartment complex on Linda Lane, just after 4 a.m., November 13, 2022. The footage shows a white sedan outside 1122 King Road. However, in its raw form, that footage alone is 12 hours long, and defense attorneys say it will be impossible for them to pinpoint the relevant clips.
Okay, that's total BS. In many cases, especially when you have something like a wiretap or a stakeout, that video or audio can go on for hours and hours and hours. That's why you're getting paid to listen to it and figure out what, if anything, is relevant. Hello, Ann Taylor. That's your job. Quit whining. But let's talk about the video itself specifically. Video from a nearby apartment at Linda Lane. Straight out to Chris McDonough joining me. Veteran homicide investigator, star of the Interview Room on YouTube. Chris, you and I have tromped through that neighborhood. Now, I don't even know how many hours. And I noticed, I didn't understand the relevance of it, how close all of the buildings are to each other. As I stood in front of the King Road crime scene, I could look across and tell you the type of dishwashing liquid sitting in the kitchen window of the apartment across the street. It was the green Palmolive, by the way. I mean, I could see it. So I guarantee you this video from Linda Lane, an apartment nearby, it's got to be something damning. Hey, let's see those still shots from the video that we're talking about. Could you describe this area, Chris McDonough?
Absolutely, Nancy, and
There's
you
only
have
one
stood
still
there,
shot.
and it is a lot closer than what it appears from like a Google map or something like that. That area is, it's off housing campus, or excuse me, it's off campus housing for students. It's surrounded by a couple of apartment
Hold on,
buildings.
Chris. Look at your monitor. We're showing it right now.
Yeah,
this
the
is
one
from the
clip.
Veritas Aquitas YouTube channel. Check it out, and I guarantee you this is going to be blown up like nobody's business, so the jury can see it. This is one of many. Okay, go ahead, dear.
Okay, so if you're driving straight up past 1122, you get to this apartment complex at the end of like a mini cul-de-sac, and then that's where this car is turning. And if you can complete that turn all the way around, it will take you behind the residence at 1122, where you could actually park. And I think in this particular shot here, he's actually going to the end. It appears the car is backing up and then coming straight back down and parking in front of 1122. So you can get to the residence either way. If you want to peek on the residence, you can park behind it. If you want to, surveil the residence, you can also park in front of it.
Cheryl McCollum, you and I investigated the glam yoga teacher, Caitlin Armstrong. Her
We did too.
was caught going around and around and
Uh-huh.
around the scene of the crime just after the murder victim had walked in. Same thing here, Cheryl McCollum. Reportedly, and again, Kohberger, he's innocent right now in the eyes of Lady Justice. And he remains innocent until he is proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law by a jury of his peers. That said, we're not in a court of law. So let's talk about it. The video apparently catches him circling round and round and round, much like Caitlin Armstrong did. And it's not just this one video. There's more. Oh, by the way, this is from Veritas Akita's YouTube channel. Go ahead, Cheryl.
The video is paramount. It not only shows time of day and location, it shows how he slows down. It shows how the car does the K-turn. They're going to cross-check that again, Nancy, with
Well, you have to slow down when you're going around a curve.
Cross-check it again with the traffic ticket. And I want to come back to that traffic ticket, the one that he got in August, where it's midnight. He's just a minute or so away from the murder house, and he's getting a ticket for not having his seatbelt on. My theory is because he's getting in and out of his car, stalking these young people. All of this, the video, the cell phones, the traffic tickets, goes to the plotting and the planning and the stalking that he did prior to these murders. It's not uncommon. Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez.
Speaking of forensics, professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University, I'm going to jump off what Cheryl McCollum was just saying. It's not just this video he wants suppressed. Okay, it's a whole series of videos. I'm telling you what I think they're doing, and you and I discussed this with Cheryl a while back, and I think you were in on it too, Chris McDonough. I think they're pulling a Fotis Dulos. Remember Dulos, who murdered his wife, is the mother of 5 of his children, Jennifer Dulos?
Yep.
That LE put together a hodgepodge, a patchwork quilt that turned out beautifully of him getting in the car, and they've got a red light cam, and then they've got a surveillance video at a store. Then they've got a stoplight cam. There's even a shot of Dulos going by in the vehicle with her DNA in the back seat when a public bus opens the door and you see Dulos going by, and they put together a story in video.
Yeah.
Because as Cheryl was just saying, you've got this video from Linda Lane, then you've got the video from the 7-Eleven where you see him go by at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's more video they're trying to suppress. I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I
You know, at
agree.
the Ridge
And not
Road.
only that, they're attempting, the defense that is, they're attempting to, try to anchor the narrative in their favor. Obviously, that's what they have to do, but they're even changing language, Nancy, about this case. They want a lot of the stuff excluded. We got into this, I think, probably about 8 days ago. I'd urge anybody to go back and watch that episode where we were talking about the language that's being used. And one of the things that really stood out to me, Nancy, was this idea going back to the knife sheath. They actually want to exclude the term touch DNA. So all of us in our field and others, we're supposed to exclude what is common language for us so that it doesn't paint him in a bad light. And all of this evidence, whether it's videography or the physical evidence or the purchases, it paints him in a very, very negative light. And so that's what they're trying to do with this, to try to throw a grenade into the room and try to disrupt this. All they need is one little bit here, one little bit to dissuade any jurors that might be on the fence.
Kohberger also wants weather data from the night of the murders to be kept from the jury. The state
Weather
plans to use
data.
records from the National Weather Service for November 12 and 13 to show Kohberger wouldn't have had much luck stargazing, as his vague alibi claims. The reports taken at the Pullman-Moscow Regional Airport, located roughly halfway between the two college towns, show fog, reduced visibility, and low clouds at the time of the murders. Meteorologists say the fog was not thick enough to impede travel, but the night sky would only be clearly visible between breaks in the clouds.
That's right. Idaho prosecutors planning to undercut Bryan Kohberger's alibi based on stargazing. I will never forget when that came out. You know what? It's karma, some would argue. The weather was terrible that night. Sydney Sumner, the weather, according to the National Weather Institute, does not support. In fact, it destroys Kohberger's alibi. He was out stargazing.
Nancy, that's what we believed from the beginning. That's what you've said over and over again. The easiest way to disprove that he was stargazing was whether or not you could see the sky that night, and you couldn't, according to this weather report. And that's taken from the Moscow Pullman Airport. That's pretty much directly in the center between those two towns. We drove that highway, Highway 270. It's directly in the middle. So wherever he was in Pullman, in Moscow that night, he couldn't see the sky in either location.
A new filing in the case reveals prosecutors plan to introduce National Weather Service records for November 12 and 13, 2022 as evidence. Apparently, the area was shrouded in low clouds, fog, reduced visibility at the time of the murders. Not much stargazing to be had. Hey, let's take a look at a new piece of evidence. It's Bryan Kohberger's driver's license. That popped up in the reams of evidence that we have been reviewing. I noticed that he's an organ donor. Jessica Morgan, can you be an organ donor after the death penalty?
Yeah. Here's my take. I've participated in assisting in 3 autopsies of individuals that went through capital punishment. And you say, well, why would you do that? Well, it's still a homicide. All 3 of those cases I assisted in were in Georgia. And there's not much that you could do with the remains. You can donate perhaps skin, maybe eyes.
Well, it's going to be the firing
and maybe
squad,
bone.
if anything. It's not going to be electrocution.
No, it's not. And they are asking for the firing squad. And it's possible, that some elements of the body could be donated. However, the problem is if there's any thought that you're going to put him on a vent and harvest a heart or take kidneys or liver or anything like that, that's not going to happen. You're talking about some of the peripheral elements that they could go in after, and that's certainly possible, but nothing as far as a vital organ would go.
We wait as justice unfolds, and now we remember an American hero, Trooper Nolan Sanders, North Carolina Highway Patrol, just 28, killed in the line of duty.
Okay. I was looking I always like to go over like the X and at the end of the lives and see if there's anything, you know, that we need to know about the case. I didn't see anything about Bryan Kohberger yet. But I wanted to show you guys this because Rex Heuermann was in court today for a hearing. Let me go over to YouTube real quick. And I'll give you a little bit of an update. We'll have to do a full live over him again. Because it's getting good. It's getting real good. So let's see. Post. Okay. It says, you know, Fry hearing now underway for the accused Long Island. Actually, let me just pull it up for you guys so you guys can see it too. For accused Long Island serial killer Rex Heuermann in Suffolk County. I'm in the courtroom, producer Ava Pittman TV, along with other members of the media investigation. It says that just after court was called to order, we watched Heuermann enter the courtroom and face us in the gallery as he was led into the wall of the courtroom to a seated position at the defense table. He looked out to the audience and appeared to glance at his estranged wife, Asa Ellerup, and their daughter, Victoria, who were seated in the third row. Heuermann was led out in 2 sets of handcuffs behind his back because he's huge. His cuffs were unlocked before he took a seat. He is listening intently now to the first witness called to the stand, Kelly Harris, who is associate professor of genome sciences at University of Washington. This testimony is part of the prosecution's efforts to get the nuclear DNA testing of evidence in the case admissible at trial. The sensitive type of testing known as genome sequencing has never been used in a New York court of law. Prosecutors say it's commonly used throughout forensic science. Heuermann's defense attorney is trying to get it excluded, calling the process magic and unproven. We all know this guy, when he gets upset, his face gets red, just like Heuermann. Heuermann looks like he lost a little bit of weight, though, to me. Just a little bit, not a lot, just a little. And then there's a picture. You know, Ace is all about that money right now. She's going to get that $1 million piece. She has that $1 million peacock thing going on. I already know because she didn't want nothing to do with Rex in the beginning when this first happened. And as soon as that little peacock was like, oh, we're going to give you $1 million, all of a sudden she's showing up to court. So I think that's part of the dealio. Like they're like, you need to show up to court and do as much and get as much information out of him as you can because we're paying you $1 million. I mean, you know, would you, I don't know if my husband was, I guess it'd have to depend on my husband and myself. But if it was Vincent, I'd stand by him to the day I die because I know that he would never do anything like that. But I mean, would you sell your husband out for $1 million? If he was guilty, I would. If he was guilty. Hey, free to be me. Yep, he owns all those. Yep. So this is the newest picture of Asa. She was leaving the courtroom with her daughter. Her daughter still doesn't have a very good dress, but, you know, she's getting better. She doesn't have her book bag on the front of her, at least, you know, now. And look at Asa. She looks like she got a little bit of a glow up. So did you get the $1 million yet? Are you waiting on it? Nope. I think she's still waiting on it. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys that. I thought that was pretty interesting. Let me go over here and put in Bryan Kohberger and see if there's anything. The latest. They can't visit the layout of a crime scene there's asbestos in that house. Just the paper that Kohberger wants to. Okay. Probably not these yet. Okay. Someone said maybe the gag order should have been still intact. The divide is starting to crack. Where have you been, Tina Marie? Obviously not here. No, yeah. This is the Cy Ray's opinions, just like the opinions that they have for the FBI. You know, I don't get it. I don't know. It doesn't look like there's much on there. Oh, well, that brings it all back for us. Let me see if, before I let you go, if the Gonzalez family has said anything. If I just type in FA, it goes straight to their page. That's sad. I don't get on Facebook though, like ever. Oh, their daughter is a senior this year, and she says she has maintained a 4.2 GPA her entire high school career. Wow. And that's very hard to do when your sister's been murdered. You know what I mean? To still be, oh, that's amazing. Is this a song or something? Oh, it's really sad. Okay. I'll play it for you guys. Like, I'm not going to play the music, but I'll play this part because it's like a.
It was something that I left behind.
It must be Beyonce, one of Beyonce's country songs. I don't know. I don't listen to Beyonce. It says, "We love you so much, Maddie. Justice is coming, baby girl." It's beautiful that they had all these pictures and all of this, you know? Like, if you're ever thinking to yourself, should I take a picture? Take the damn picture. Even if you look terrible. Everybody get your phone out right now, take a picture, because you're never going to be as young as you are right now. That's what I always think about. You know, you're never going to be this young. So take a picture of yourself on your phone, on your iPad. And everybody remember this day, the 28th of March. I'm going to take a picture of myself too. Look at this. I already have my camera on. And then next year, I'm going to ask y'all for your pictures, the 28th of March. Don't think I won't forget. I won't forget neither. So many pictures. Adorable. She was so cute. The defendant gets screwed by Dick's Sporting Goods, that is. Looks like he bought a balaclava mask. A new court document dropped today. He is done dead man walking. So, did he do another interview? March 24th. No, I think we looked at this one. And then them spending time together. Look at that. That's what they should be doing. So sad. Okay, I thought I saw that one. I'm 328 years old. You better do it. Because days go by so fast. I know. I told Vincent I need a new picture for my YouTube. Like, I just want to put a new picture up. But I'm like, I don't really have any new pictures. Like, I'll take a selfie of me. So I got this really cute little outfit. And I think I might have Vincent take pictures of me in it this weekend. So then I can put a new picture up. Because, I mean, my picture's fine now, but, you know, maybe I'll change it. Tracy said I don't need my phone to break. No, it won't break. Yes, baby girl, they are insane to think that he's innocent. And we've all been over here saying it screaming it from the rooftop since the beginning, you know. What I allegedly think happened, you know. I might not be 100% on what happened, because I do have a little bit of different things that I think, you know, just that's just how people are. They think differently, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for sure. Oh, thanks, Trixie. I use snail mucin, everything snail mucin. And I just realized, I have them all. I thought I had them set out, one 6 months, you know, 1 3 months, 1 4 months, you know, so I don't get charged all at once. They're all coming in the next 3 days. And I'm like, I still have some left. So I'll just have backups. But that's what I use. I swear by it. It's never made my skin more moist. My mom had the best skin. She drank nothing but water and beer. But she drank a lot of water, and like I'm the opposite of that. I don't drink near enough. But she had like baby soft skin. Like her skin, if you touched it, it was like softer than a baby. I don't know how she did it. Actually, I do. She put moisturizer on her face day and night, and that's what she always told me to do, and always on your neck. See, free to be me. I'm going to be taking them because this is my last year of my 30s. This is my last year. So I need to start taking more pictures. I need to start getting more, like, even if they're just for myself or for yourself, you know, you could set up a little, all you need is like a little tripod in your phone, and you could set up a little like photo shoot. Just get a sheet, hang it up on your wall, and then get another sheet, put it on the floor. So you have like something to sit on. Like the sheet behind you would be like, you know, a background. And then just, yeah. I've always wanted to take pictures. My brother and sister-in-law, they do it. And they've taken like those boudoir, like kind of photos. And like one of the photos that they have, it's a beautiful picture of them. It's like, my sister-in-law's like, I don't know, like she has her head back, like leaned back. And my brother's like he's getting ready to kiss her. And it's just like, you can just tell that how much they love each other, you know, in those pictures. So they always have like the cutest little pictures, and they take pictures on their farm and stuff. So. Oh, Trixie, I feel like my skin's starting to get a little, like, you can't really see it on camera, but like off camera, it's pretty wrinkly right through there. And that's just because of all the metal kind of pulling down. So I'm like, do I get like a half facelift? How does that work? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I want to get some like backdrops, or just do like the sheet thing, like I said, and just do like a photo shoot. I want to do one with me and Vincent. Vincent hates taking pictures, but I'm like, dude, you're 36 years old. You're a baby. He's got the gray hairs are coming in. And he's like, you don't have these. I'm like, I do. They're just back here. They're hidden. They're hidden from me. That's like a cruel joke, you know? You put them all the way in the back of my head. I can't see them back there. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I'll be back on tomorrow. There are a lot of women in here tonight, Mr. Rosebud, compared to you guys. That's funny. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I do appreciate you. We almost did a 2-hour live, hour and 46 minutes. I'll be back on tomorrow. I want to look at that picture of Dylan. I actually printed it out, but when I printed it out, I even used color because I wanted to get back to these pictures. I need to scoot it over, then print it, because I want to see those pictures in the background. There are pictures in the background with facial, like there's ones with an eye and an eyebrow. But I mean, to me, that could have been just like any kind of picture that she was just taking. Like any kind, that could have just been stuff that she was drawing. But I mean, it does have some of the eyes and the eyebrows. So we'll have to look at those. Yeah. I don't know. That's all I think I have to say. But thank you guys so much for being here. I'll be back on tomorrow. I may do a day live. I'm not sure. It's Saturday, Vincent's home, so we usually spend some time together. But if I don't come on tomorrow during the day, I'll be on tomorrow night. But I'll let you know if I do come on during the day on the community tab. But just make sure you have your bell icon alerted. If you guys don't mind, we're so close to getting to the next number in our subscriber count. If you guys don't mind taking a second, hit subscribe for the channel. We do talk about true crime daily here on the channel. So if that's something that you're into, don't forget, subscribe, share, like, all those things. So I will see you guys all tomorrow evening. Have a wonderful Saturday. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn.